Hey everyone, welcome to Edison Bob. Today we talk about how to stake on Kusama and Polkadot and how you can earn interest on your KSM and DOT tokens. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe and also follow us on Twitter. So what do you need to actually stake and earn interest? What you need is the browser extension installed. You need a stash and controller account. You need the actual tokens in your stash account, and you need some time. At the beginning, you will need about 30 minutes of research, and also you will need to check in every few days within your account and check if everything is fine. But this is also very good because you can get more immersed in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem and find out more about all the cool projects. Okay, so let's jump in. So if you don't have the browser extension installed already, I will link the video, the tutorial of how you can do this on the top right corner right now. And once you have the extension installed and the tokens in your account, you can visit the portal and you can navigate to the Accounts tab. And if you visit the Accounts tab, you will see the actual tokens within your account. So, and what do you need to have the actual stash and controller account? You will need to have them set up like in the tutorial, and you want to name them in a way that you can find them. For this tutorial, I call them stash and controller, and you want to see them here in your extension. So the stash account is the account, it's like the cold wallet. So this is where the actual money is, the actual tokens are that are being staked. And the controller account is a mechanism that you can use to not put your stash at risk. So you can actually at a later point disconnect your stash account if you have the passphrase saved, and you only need the controller online. And so you can make sure that the stash account, the tokens in your stash account won't get moved out. The controller can do a lot of things regarding staking, but it is not able to move the tokens itself. And so this adds another layer of safety, and it's built into the system, and you need to take care of this. Okay, so now we're going and take a look at staking. And the first thing we can do is we look at the Network tab and the Explorer, because in this tab you can see the actual total issuance of tokens that are live within the system. Currently we are looking at Kusama, and the total issuance is 11 million KSM tokens, so 235 million KSM tokens, 11 million tokens. And what is actually happening when you're staking is you're securing the network. So you're securing the network in that you're trusting certain nodes, validator nodes, to do the actual correct validation of new blocks entering the system. And this is associated with risk, because if you choose the wrong nodes, bad nodes, they will hurt the system. And because we do not want the system to be hurt, if we catch some of the validators behaving in a bad way, they will get slashed. So they will get some tokens taken away from them. So your job as a nominator is to find nodes that are usually behaving in a good way. This sounds very risky, but if you are actually choosing honest nodes, you're not putting your tokens at too much risk, but you still need to do a little bit of research. And this video will show you how you can do this. Okay, so we are currently at the Network tab and at the Staking tab. So the Staking tab is where you spend your time if you want to stake your tokens. And there are some sub-menus that you will take a look at. Currently, we are in the overview. The overview shows you that there are currently 900 validators validating. We are calling them the active set. So not all validators are validating at all times. There is a limited amount of validators that are validating. We are calling them the active sets. And you see that there are other validators that are not in the active set. They are waiting, they are not earning rewards, and they are validating the tokens, but they are not considered for finalizing the blocks and actually producing the blocks. And you can see a little bit of other information. So for example, you see that there is an error going on. So error is the amount in which an active set of validators is elected to actually validate the tokens. So how are the validators elected? They are elected by the nominators. So if you are staking, you are voting for which validators are going into the active set. So we can take a look at all those currently active validators, and we can see that they are having a stake. So this is how many tokens are staked with this validator. And if you open the dropdown, you can see all the stash accounts that are currently nominating this node. And you see there is one very big account. It almost has 5,000 KSM, and then there are a lot of smaller accounts. And you will see this often. So if you select this account, one big account, and a lot of small accounts. So you see a few big accounts are usually choosing who is actually validating. Okay, so your job is to find nodes that you think that are being honest, and you will nominate them to become active validators. And if they become active validators and you are nominating with them, like you have these accounts in the current active set, they will earn a reward at the end of the era. How much reward will they earn? They will earn their inflation. So every era, at the end of the era, staking rewards are handed out, and it's the amount of the inflation. And the inflation is actually there to reward those who use the tokens to secure the system. And if you're staking them and you're putting those tokens back into your stash, you will outpace the inflation because you will getting more tokens with the inflation. Okay, so now is the question, how do you select the validators? And for this, we are going to visit the Targets tab now. So we are on the Targets tab. And you see I opened them ahead of time because it always takes a little bit of time to load. You have to be patient and see them load. And so what you see is the average return is 15.4% compared to the inflation of 7.4%. So you can outpace the inflation by about double the amount if you are staking your tokens. So the Targets tab will basically tell you the staking rewards that are happening. So what you're seeing is that there are a lot of nodes and they are sorted by their return. First, you see the nodes that you've put a star on, that your favorite nodes. For example, you see Alice and Bob. And then you see all the other nodes, and they are sorted by their current return. So let's take a look at the return. So you see that there is different returns. Why are there different returns? This usually depends on how much rewards a node is gaining. So every node is gaining a little bit of different amount, but it should average out over time. But it does not help if there is more stake on a node, because on average, every node gets the same reward no matter how many tokens are there. What this does is it creates an incentive for every node to have roughly the same amount of tokens staked. And also the algorithm that does the actual node selection averages this amount out. And so you usually see at the moment 5,200 KSM being staked with nodes, but it can also be different. If we go down a little bit, these are the inactive nodes, but if we go a little bit up, so you can also see nodes that have 9,000 KSM staked, 8,000, 7,000, and so on. And then you see different rewards because the more KSM there are staked, if every node gets the same reward, in relation, each KSM is yielding less reward. And the other thing is, you see that there is a commission. So each node can ask for their own share of what they want to have for validating. So some nodes are asking for 5% commission or 0% commission. So the nodes that have the least amount of tokens and the least commission have the highest staking rewards. And this will be interesting to you because you want to have high staking rewards. But as you can also see in the official suggestion, you should not only look for the least commission, but you should have an overall picture of what the node is doing. So, for example, is the node behaving in a good way, or has it been slashed in the past? Is it having a good uptime, or is it going down when it's in the active set and so it's actually not earning rewards and so on? And so you have to do a little bit of an investigation into the nodes. And this is what we're doing now. So you have the Validator Stats tab over here, and you can open it up. And what you do is you say, okay, I'm interested in, let's say, the shot maker. Let's say I'm interested in shot maker. And if I click it, there is this window opening up, and I can see the address, and I can also see additional information about the node that they have provided. For example, their email address. So you could get in contact with them and ask them. Some have a Twitter account associated, and maybe you also sometimes find a website and so on. Okay, so let's look into MantraDAO. And we're looking into MantraDAO. I'm taking the address, I'm copying it, and I'm opening the Validator Stats tab, pasting the address, and now the stats for this node are loading, and I can see how it behaved in the past. Okay, and so I see there is a certain amount of error points. It's a little bit technical and detailed. We won't go into it that much, but you see that the gray line shows the rough average of the error points. And then you see the elected stake, so how much stake has been with this node in a given error. So the error is the number of the error. How many rewards there are. Usually you see only the green line, not the red line, because the red line is the slashes and the green line is the rewards. And you see the average reward for the node is about 0.6 KSM, and this is then split up between all the KSM that's staking. And then you see how the commission changed over time, because some nodes are changing the commission over time. And so what you might be interested in is looking at all those nodes. And then you can also make some, if you have some ideological reasons to choose certain nodes, you can choose them. For example, some nodes are from a bigger company, some are individuals that want to contribute to the system. And then you also have like capital investment firms that are in the field. So you might also want to look into those facts. Yeah? And maybe you're interested in rewarding the nodes with actual contributions in the form of paying them a commission. For example, if you're interested in staking with Alice and Bob, we are currently asking for a 3% commission. Yes. Then also the next thing is, many nodes are only online from time to time. So for example, Alice and Bob, we just went online for the first time. So let's look at Alice and Bob. Why is there a payout that has been away 8 days ago? Are they not paying out? Let's take a look at Alice and Bob. And so what we see is that actually Alice and Bob went online for the first time 8 days ago, because we're in the 1000 Validators program. It's a program that is supporting individual nodes that want to get up and running. And so we started staking 8 days ago and got nominated by the 1000 Validators program. And actually today we are getting into the active set for the second time. So if we take a look in the overview, we should actually be loading there because we should have gone back into the system, yes, about 10 minutes ago, and we're being nominated by the 1000 Validators program. So you can stake with us and you can also earn some interest. If you want to have some details on that, there is also this article that gives you the details on how you can stake with us. Okay, now let's actually do the actual thing and let's go and do some staking. So what we want to do is we go to the account actions. And the account actions under the staking tab lets you do the actual staking. And so what we would have done is we would have selected some nodes. So I'm selecting some nodes now that I'm usually trusting, but you can make your own informed decision. It's just some nodes that I did some random research on, and I was very happy to find them. So this is just a small selection, and there are a lot of other good and trustworthy nodes. So Jaco is also someone I'm interested in, and also Swiss Bond. So you see, I'm also staking with nodes that have some commission, where I'm happy to support them. Okay, so let's say you have made your decision and you think these are the nodes that you want to support, and you also see that they're online often enough. And what you want to look at is when was the last time they were active. So for example, if they have been active 8 days ago, did they immediately pay out the reward, or did they pay within a short time? So after we were active 8 days ago, we immediately paid out. Riabinya pays out within 2 days, and so on. So this is actually very good. We want to see those numbers. Okay, so we have selected those. Now we go to account actions. And what we want to do now is we want to become a nominator. So we select the nominator. And now we want to select the stash account and the controller account. So the stash account will be stash in this case, and controller will be controller. And so I made sure that there is enough tokens here to actually do the staking. So for Kusama, at the moment, you currently need at least 0.1 KSM. And for Polkadot, I think it's currently 20 dot, or maybe 40 dot. I think 20 dot. And so if you want to stake less, so for example this, it gives you the error message and it tells you you need at least 100 milli KSM. Okay, but we want to do more. We want to do 0.1 KSM. You also want to have a little bit left untouched in case you want to do sign a transaction that you can still do this. Okay, and you see that there is a bonding duration. So if you are bonding the tokens, there is a 7-day unbonding period for Kusama and a 28 unbonding period for Polkadot. This is a period where you cannot use the tokens. They are still yours, basically, but you can not use them. And it's a security precaution in case there is a slashing event, that the tokens can be slashed from misbehaving accounts, but you won't be misbehaving, I trust. So, and then the last point is you want to select a payment destination. And what you can do is you can say paid back to the stash account and increase my stake. So basically, in most cases, you will want to do this to get compounding effects and get more and more tokens. But you can also say pay it back to the stash account and do not increase the amount at stake. And what it does is it gives you the tokens so that you can use them in another way and they are not bonded. You can also say send them to the controller account or to any other account if you want to specify account. But I'm happy to increase the amount at stake. And so I'm telling the system to go to the next step. And now it wants to know which nodes do I actually want to stake with. It shows all the nodes, but it's also nice to me. And the ones that I gave a star, that I said are my favorite nodes, it tells it puts them at the front. So I can select some of the nodes, and you want to select more than one node because you want to make sure that you are in the active set with your stake at all times to maximize your gains. And it also gives you the warning here, you should trust your nominations to act competently and honest. So competently also that, to make sure that they're using good technology and are up all the time. Basing a decision purely on their current profitability could lead to reduced profits or even loss of funds. Yes, so now we want to bond and nominate. And so it now prepares the transaction and it tells us the price is 131 micro KSM. So that's 0.000131 KSM. Where do you want to pay them from? From the stash. Yes, that's fine for me. Sign and submit. And now the extension pops up and it asks us to batch those transactions together, a staking transaction and a bonding transaction. Okay, so we are happy with this and I'm entering my password if I remember it. Yes, this worked out. So the transaction is being broadcast. And after a few seconds, once it is put into a block and put on the blockchain, we will see a success message in block. And we also see that the user interface updates and it shows us that we have 0.1 KSM staked. We have waiting nominations for these nodes and it is staked. And so what happens is the system waits until the next election of the nodes in the active set. So in the case of Kusama, that's 6 hours. In the case of Polkadot, 24 hours. And then you will get into the active set and you will get your rewards. Usually, Alice and Bob and all the other nodes do the payouts within a day, usually, or two. But you should check yourself, because if a node does not do the payout, you need to request the payout yourself, or else you will lose it after a certain amount of errors. You have a few days to do this. You have enough days to do this, but you should check in at least once a week to make sure you get all your rewards. Yes, and that's it basically. If you want to ever stop it, you can do a lot of actions here. So you can change the controller account, change the reward destination, unbond funds, bond more funds, or you can just chill. So chilling is basically telling the system you currently do not want to stake, but you also do not want to unbond. You just want to not nominate for maybe a few hours or days, but you will continue. That's the basic idea. Yes, so that's the tutorial. If you want to nominate with us, we are very happy about this. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe and also follow us. Thanks you guys for tuning in. See you next time and make sure to stay safe.